What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn states this about Anthony Joshua. He says, a lot of unknowns about AJ. Coming off of 2 defeats, mentally, where's he at? Eddie Hearn looks at Anthony Joshua's upcoming fight as an opportunity to determine what the 33-year-old former heavyweight champion has left after suffering back-to-back defeats to Alexander Usyk. Joshua's promoter dismissed criticism of Joshua's opponent, American Jermaine Franklin, in large part because there is a lot of uncertainty related to Joshua in advance of their April 1st bout at the O2 Arena in London. Although legitimized himself as a contender in the division by testing Dillian Whyte, as we know, Eddie Hearn said this: "It's a good fight. Look, the haters will say Joshua's finished, mentally shot, but he'll knock Jermaine Franklin out inside 3 rounds, and the others will say Jermaine Franklin beat Dillian Whyte by 3 or 4 rounds, but he's a terrible opponent for Anthony Joshua. You really can't win." I think it's really credible fight to come back. I think Franklin is good. I think there's a lot of unknowns about AJ. He's coming off of 2 defeats. Mentally, where's he at? How's he gonna look with a new trainer? Those are the words of Eddie Hearn, and let me counterpunch. Eddie Hearn is a good talker, but I think sometimes Eddie Hearn needs to cut it at a certain point. Just edit that shit out. Some things he shouldn't say at all. Like he just said, I think it's a bad look. Him saying, well, we mentally don't know where he's at after coming off 2 back-to-back losses. That's not the way to explain that coming from a promoter. Because for one, had I been at Eddie Hearn or had I be Anthony Joshua's promoter, I said, yes, Alexander Usyk surprised us the first time, but the second time we really improved. He changed his trainer. He showed that he was still hungry. He showed that he went to the body more in the second fight, and he lost to a split decision. So how the hell would I know if there's unknowns about AJ? Why? Because he got a little pissed at the end. A lot of people do that in defeat. That just showed he really wanted to win, and he proved guys like Teddy Atlas wrong, that he's okay with a loss. That's how you handle that. That's how you promote a fighter. Not say there's a lot of uncertainties and mentally we don't know where he's at because of 2 defeats back to back. We don't do that, and I don't like that Eddie Hearn said that, because people can just pry, just like I'm looking into. That's really not reaching that far. When you say stuff like that about your own fighter, I know he's promoting the fight. That may be the angle, but it still looks bad because he could handle it a totally different way. Okay? Now, this is my question to everyone, and I want you guys to pay very close attention. Would Eddie Hearn say the same thing about Canelo Alvarez if he gets beat again by Bivol, but did it or made a better performance doing it, but still got beat? Counterpunch. You see what I mean? I doubt that Eddie Hearn would raise a vocal cord to say some shit like that out of his mouth about Canelo Alvarez. Okay? He wouldn't dare say anything about Canelo Alvarez in that manner. He would say, oh, he's moving up, mate. He was doing good. I think he did a good fight. I think that, you should applaud Canelo for taking the challenge. You would hear all that shit, but you wouldn't hear shit like, hey, a lot of unknowns. A lot of unknowns meaning, okay, well, yeah, you're selling the fight. It makes it suspenseful in a way, but then I think that's the wrong angle, especially when haters are already doing the same thing. You need to do opposite of the haters. Don't hate, participate. That's what he needs to start doing. Just like the way I explained it. I didn't like the way how Eddie left it out there. You could look at it another way, though. You could say, well, Eddie Hearn's certain that Anthony Joshua will knock out Jermaine Franklin. That's why he is the picked opponent. That's why he is saying things that may think that AJ is mentally in trouble. So there's a possibility that Jermaine Franklin will win, because there's a possibility that AJ's in trouble mentally, and he's not ready mentally. So he may lose to a guy because he's not all there. That's where the unknowns come from. So I get it too. I'm not hating on Eddie Hearn. I just wouldn't have done that, and I don't agree with that tactic, that unknown and mental and all that stuff, because people are using this mental shit, too loosely. They're using it too much. It's abuse, people. I'm tired of people using the mental abuse to talk about how good a fighter is, or how focused a fighter is, or how much a fighter wants to win. Obviously he wants to win because he got another fucking trainer. He didn't stick with Robert Garcia and just ride it out. No, he wanted another trainer because he wanted to learn new things. That's AJ. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn and his comments about Anthony Joshua, saying that he has unknowns and we don't know where he is mentally because of the back-to-back losses. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.